Hey everyone, this is Joel.
And Noah from the Wealth is Health podcast.
This podcast is a conversation of our journey to financial health.
We think working till 65 just ain't it, and just like you, we're trying to make sure that never happens.
And if you're interested in letting us know what you're trying to do to achieve financial health and want to join us in our journeys, join the discussion on our Facebook at the Wealth is Health podcast.
Let's tap in.
Why? All right. Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Wealth. I guess I said good morning, so I gave it away that we woke up early for this. Welcome to the Wealth is Health podcast, episode 10. So this is a pretty big milestone. You know, maybe I think I need those little applause for this. Episode 10.
Gang.
It's just not working, huh?
You want them laughing at
I
us.
played the laughing one.
That's crazy. Like, wait, y'all are still doing this? This is still a thing?
No. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going strong forever. We can definitely promise you that. But today's going to be just like last week. We're going to have a whole bunch of updates because stuff's going on in our lives. Yeah, that's pretty much the introduction here. I don't know if you want to start because, I mean, you do have a lot. So do you want me to start again?
Yeah.
I mean, you said you want to bring something up, though.
Yeah, so what I was going to bring up first was don't sleep on what I was saying about that book, Principles. When it comes to, like, your thing about delaying gratification and, like, potentially doing it too much because, like, you don't want to, like, enjoy your life or whatever by taking vacations and stuff like that. But for me, it's, like, remember, like, what you're doing it for. So, yeah, the majority of the time, especially because, like, we're still more so at the beginning of our journeys, we probably should be grinding the majority of the time. But, yeah, I just wanted to extra emphasize that point of, like, you could be like, all right, whenever I hit such and such milestones, I'm going to make sure I celebrate in some way. I even have it, like, specifically for vacations. Like, it's a part of, like, my life principles or whatever to take at least one domestic trip and one international trip a year, regardless of what's going on. So, since that's kind of a part of, like, my life principles that I'm choosing to live by, like I said, like, whether I'm, like, down bad or I've been doing great, it's like I'm still doing, like, what I kind of set out to do in terms of enjoying the journey on the way to financial independence. So,
Yeah.
Don't sleep
I'm not
on
gonna
that.
lie. I'm not gonna lie.
ahead.
That's good. I think that'd be very hard for me to take a vacation and like that if everything was going down, if I wasn't feel like I didn't meet like the goals or standards I was trying to set for myself for a year. I feel like it'd be very hard for me to do that. Or is this like even if the market's going down but you're still doing well, you take a vacation?
Yeah, but that's why for me it's just like it is so important to remember like why are you doing this, because what's the point for you to really just like have the most amount of money or the most amount of passive income and not actually take advantage of like the whole point of like what you got it to do, because we can take advantage of a lot of those freedoms that we're like acting like we won't even have until we're 100% financially independent. But we can have a lot of that stuff now. We just can't have it maybe as frequently as we would like or in excess. But so if you don't have that in mind, and if it's not like kind of like written down at least like in your mind, then you could just end up, like I said, just delaying gratification forever and never really doing what you set out to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel better about this guitar purchase I want to make.
Even though the majority of probably what they say to me is just like, I don't know. I don't want to say it's dumb, but like
I was gonna say nonsense.
You know what I mean. Yeah. But it's like sometimes there are like little gems within what they're saying. Like if you kind of filter through, in the sense that like I could just like be around people that are just grinding all the time, 24/7. But then it's like when I talk to regular deglers and they're like, oh, like you should be enjoying your life or whatever. Like I don't think I should do it at the level that they're talking about, because they don't really do anything else with their lives. But it's like I probably should do it more than like what I've been doing it, or the level that I've been doing it at. And then also I'm just petty as well. So because they'll look at me sideways like, oh, I would never want to like go towards financial independence because I don't want to be grinding like that all the time. But I can also be like, I mean, yeah, but I also like have way more fun than you, and I
Yeah,
can
also,
I
they
can
are
do all
all-
the things that you
bro.
cannot afford to do. So I
To be
want you to
honest,
know
though,
that as well.
I bet if you like took the amount of time like a regular employee would be grinding in like a typical 9 to 5, it probably wouldn't even be. You'd probably be working less than they would be at the end of the day, but they just can't really see that because it's shrouded from like that 9 to 5. They get their weekend, whatever. But the whole goal,
Yeah.
the whole point of this is so we can retire early. So, in the grand scheme of things, we're supposed to be doing less work than they would be doing. But yeah, no, back to that guitar thing though. For everyone, this is an extra side note. I've been playing the ukulele for like probably 2 years, and okay, probably more than 2 years. But it's fun, but it's like not like nice, like a guitar is nice. So I want to get like a not nice guitar, just like a guitar so I can play it. But I've been playing because one of my roommates over here has it, and it's pretty nice. So I think I'm gonna have to take a look at some and see if I can get one for real, because it's actually awesome. And that's like something that I think I could see myself like getting good at, also staying with for a long time, which is why I think it's a good purchase. And
Right.
that's it about the guitar story, at least. Yeah.
You can get into your updates though.
Oh yeah. So I have an interesting update yesterday. So yesterday, I did something unfortunately that cost me $400. That was tough. So we were driving. So on orientation, we have golf carts. This is good that I'm saying on the podcast because this thing ends in 3 days, and I don't think I'm coming back to the team. So
Damn.
I mean, if they don't listen to my podcast on the team anyway, so. But if you didn't, then you'll really know what happened yesterday. But we had a golf cart, and I took like a right turn with these like two girls in the back, and one fell out of the back seat, and she like smashed her phone, smashed her camera lens, not the camera body.
Dang,
She smashed
that
her
phone
camera
probably looks like
lens.
mine right now. That's
Nah,
crazy.
it looked worse. It looked like you clearly couldn't use it. So I was like, wow, yeah, this is terrible. So I felt super bad. I went and got her phone fixed. I bought her a new like camera lens, and I was like, yeah, I feel very bad. But I was down 400, but honestly, like it's really not that bad. Plus, I don't really spend money, so I have a lot of money saved up. Aside from the rental arbitrage stuff, just in my personal account. So I didn't really feel too bad. Well, I felt bad, but I didn't feel too bad about losing like that money.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go. I mean, in the whole time though, I was thinking like, I really am glad I have this money. Because imagine if I just didn't, I'd feel
Yeah.
terrible. Like, yeah, I cannot give you this money because I spent it on some like nonsense.
And now
I
you're
felt
down
very
bad.
now. I know. Well, now I'm down bad because I'm just sad. I'm just sad that
That's
happened.
fair.
Not even because of money. I'm just sad that happened. Like that was unnecessary. But yeah, no.
Yep.
Personal updates for me though. I applied for the Chase Sapphire Preferred card,
Hey, me too.
and
We both got accepted.
we both got
Yes,
accepted
sir.
quickly. I got accepted for $6,200 of credit, and the reason I got the card is because I'm gonna be starting a lot of rental arbitrage stuff very soon, especially after this internship ends, which, well, not after the internship ends, I mean after orientation ends, which is in the next like 3 days. Once that happens, I have a lot more free time to actually start to pursue like my business, I already created the LLC, I already created the EIN, which is the employee identification number that's like linked to my business, so that when I do basically anything, if I try to make a business bank account, I can use this EIN number, so it's like linked to the business, which is it really just looks more professional. Like I could use my own personal account, but it wouldn't look as professional. And then bookkeeping is a lot easier when you have a separate account for your business. So that's the reason why I need an EIN at least. But yeah, this $6,200 is good because it's literally double the credit I have right now. Basically, I had $3,300 of credit, like line of credit right now, and this just boosted it up to like 9,500. So
Nice.
$9,500 of credit at the time is pretty good. The downside to it is that there is like an annual fee of $95 a year, which is all right though. I think it's like worth it. And then I think it doesn't even matter because I'm gonna pay it back anyways. But I think the APR
Yeah, I was
is
gonna
even
say,
cheaper.
did you want to bring up the APR,
Yeah, it was like 15%.
or did you want to bring up why you're not gonna bring it up?
Yeah, I was gonna bring up. Well, I'm not gonna bring it up. Well, I don't think
Yeah.
I'm ever gonna actually need to worry about I always pay off my credit, so it doesn't matter. Even if I had to just do the minimal payment, it doesn't really matter. But still, the APR was like 15%, I think, right?
I don't remember.
Do you
I think
remember?
I know mine was, yeah.
Yeah, so mine's 15%.
Well, I think it was like
That's-
more so 16 because it was like 15.99.
yeah, 99, yeah, whatever they do, yeah. But it was my other Discover card is like 24, and the Apple card is like 24 too. Again, though, it doesn't matter. I will never miss my credit history. My payment date, and the reason too is because I set up automatic payments in case I ever missed it. And I actually did miss it. Like the last payment cycle, I missed it. I didn't miss the payment, but because automatic payment just paid for it for me. But I was like, wow, I just forgot to check up on it. So
Yeah, so
that's why it's good to have that.
before you get into like any other updates if you have them, I was gonna say, a lot of y'all probably heard that myth that in order to build your credit, you need to be carrying a balance on your credit cards, but that's just not the case. Like you could just easily Google that question, and like the first like link that pops
Wait.
up, or one of the first, is from Experian, which is one of the credit bureaus, and they say straight up like that is a myth. You do not need to carry a balance in order for you to build credit. Like when you go on Credit Karma and it shows you like the different things that are that go into like your credit score, like carrying a balance or the importance of carrying a balance is not like on the list. It's like, are you making the payment every month? Like that's what matters. And then also like your credit utilization rate is another
Yep.
big thing
Yep.
that matters. So as long as you're not using like too much of a percentage of that, then you're straight. But you don't need to carry a little balance. It's 100% fine to pay your credit card balances in full every single month. And for the most part, like that's what I do. So I don't like I've basically never paid interest on a credit card like almost in my entire
Ever,
life.
bro,
I think
ever.
I think there was one time where it's like I had like an interest charge of like $1. So sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
I didn't
I
even
failed, I guess.
To be honest, I did not know that was even a thing people thought. I didn't think people thought you had to carry a
Bro,
balance
even when
over
you
it.
go to like the bank and ask people, and that's why I don't like
Oh, they'll
like
say
when
that
people
too.
would ask me. Yeah, I don't like when people would ask me like, "Oh, like did you learn all this stuff from working at the bank?" I'm like, bro, like there are a bunch of idiots in that bank. Respectfully,
Yeah.
like they don't know anything, bro. They know how to sell you products, and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
stop actually looking at them for like true financial education. That's not where you're gonna get
Yeah.
it from.
I mean, I stopped trusting people from the bank a while ago, but one time I was filling out my form for like the other business I had, and they forgot to include this. They forgot to include something that made it like difficult for me along the, like after, and I was like, wow, this is actually a pain. Like they really do not know what they're talking about. The dude had the nerve to say, yeah, we're gonna do this like this way, just so you can make sure everything's good, and everything did not turn out to be good. So that's mad funny. But no, I was gonna say with that too, though. Yeah, I think I haven't had my credit history is only like technically like a year basically right now, maybe a year and like a little bit, but I kind of had that same question, not with the, but you know how like your statement balance is different than your current balance.
Yeah,
I thought that like the statement balance was something that kind of affected your credit score too, but it really does not. I looked into it. It really doesn't matter. You just have to pay everything off. The question I do have though is you know how you'll buy something, pay it off directly after. Would that even show up on your credit report if you did that? Because
it
that's
might
like,
not. I don't pay it off directly after. I
Directly.
pay it off. I pay my credit cards typically like every Friday and every Sunday because I get paid on Fridays from Citizens, and then I pay myself from Grubhub on Sundays.
yeah.
Well, I guess technically it hits my account on Monday, but I hit the make a payment thing on Sunday. So there's typically still kind of like it will show like some sort of balance for a little bit. So on Credit Karma, it will like even when I have like a little bit of a balance, it still shows up, but at the end of like the statement period, it's like basically always zero.
Yeah, that's so. I started to do the same thing where I stopped paying it off directly. In fact, it's kind of annoying because usually it takes some days to process, anyways. But I started waiting like either like a week or whatever, and then just paying it off. Then so much easier, and I feel like it does look better on my. Like it'll actually get counted as some like credit history. So that's pretty stupid.
Did
But
you
yeah,
want to talk
s-
about like the introductory like promotion thing for like the
Oh yeah,
points and all that.
yeah. I don't know how I forgot that.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess
oh,
sorry, real quick.
No.
I like because you had already mentioned that you applied for it and all that. I don't know if you said it too, but yeah, I also applied for it.
I didn't want to say in case. You
Okay,
wanted to
yeah,
talk
I didn't
about
know
it.
if we wanted to just wait for my update or if I should just bring it up
Yeah.
then. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna bring it up later. All right. Yeah. So the reason I got the card was because I wanted to. There's a, I guess a point back system. So if you spend $4,000 in the first, it's 4 months, right?
I think it's 3 months.
Okay. Well, if you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months, you can get. Well, now it's 100,000 points, which is like the equivalent of $1,250, I think. When I looked at the promotion, something like that.
Yeah, so basically, it's technically like $1,000, but when you redeem the points through like the Chase portal, it can end
Yeah.
up being like the $1,250 or $1,250.
So that's just awesome because it's basically free money if you were going to spend the money anyways. And because I'm planning on spending the money anyways at this time to start this rental arbitrage thing, I would like a free $1,000 basically.
So
And
you wouldn't really do something like that if you weren't gonna spend the
Yeah,
money
yeah,
within that
yeah,
time period,
no.
like normally, right?
No, you would never do that. No, you have to have kind of something upcoming for you to do that. And I was even
And then
thinking
how
about
many-
buying this course too.
Oh yeah, you were gonna say, but I was gonna say
gonna s-
like
No,
think
seriously.
about like if whether it's $1,000 or the $1,250 or whatever, like how many years of like that annual fee does that pay for as well? Like when you think about it that way.
Yeah, that's actually very true. I mean, I guess it would be like around 10 years, so that's already pretty valid. But again, I don't think the annual fee is that much of a problem if you're creating, especially a business like that too. And you do like I didn't look into like the cashback on like regular returns, but I know it's good for travel, for dining out and all this stuff. I watched a video on it, so it is a good card I think in general. And in terms of annual fees, it actually has like one of the lower annual fees compared to some of the other cards I saw. Like I thought 95 was a lot until I started looking at other cards that have like 500, 400. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, well, this is that's unnecessary. But yeah, the course. So the reason I got it kind of was because I thought I was going to be buying a $4,000 course for rental arbitrage. So I kind of asked like around. I had mentioned that I asked Noah last week about it, and I asked some other people too who kind of like were talking about rental arbitrage to me from like way before, and even some people on the Facebook group chat that the people who have the podcast of the people who have the course they also have a Facebook. So I asked on the Facebook if anyone had gotten the same course, and they were basically just telling me like, nah, don't buy the course, like do it on your own, bet on yourself. Like you can find all the information online. It might be tough, but you'll feel better about it after. And I get that. Like I know I already knew I could have found it all online. It's just like the ease of like knowing that this exact method that they're using will generate me like a lot of income in the future if I kind of follow it. But I do think that I've done a lot of research already, and I feel like because I've already created the LLC, which is like already a big part of it, and because I already have like this like money saved up, that'll be good. I told them that I had like 6,000 saved up. In reality, I have like 10,000, but I don't like. I just felt. I just want to let them know, like, I guess, how much I had there, but they were also telling me that I should save up like more in case of like hardship times and whatever. And I was like, yeah, I figured. But yeah, that's it with that update at least. There is there's one other thing I want to talk about. I don't even know. I think that might be it, to be honest, unless something comes up. But yeah, for the most part, very big update. I said it before already though. My orientation is going to end on June 30th. I'm moving out of here probably either June 1st or June 2nd. And this is very huge because I'm finally going to be able to have a lot more time in my day to just work on this. And for the most part, so I work 27 hours a week at this internship I'm at right now. That's not a lot of time. That's probably like three and like a little bit 8-hour days. So if I could, I work like 5 hours a day basically, or 5 hour, 6 hour, 5 hour, 6 hour type thing. I will have so much time during the day to do anything else that I want. So I'm very excited that I'm going to have like time to actually do what I want and even like Grubhub or do DoorDash on the side too to get more income for this business, so I can kind of get as much money as I can for that. The thing is too, I can work on my own for the most part. They are bringing us out to some area. I can't say it yet, but they're bringing out to some place to do some work for a week. So it's gonna take like obviously a week out of what I'm doing because I'm not gonna be able to really do very much. But very exciting times. But that's all I have for my updates. I'm gonna pass on to Noah. He's gonna talk about his big updates.
Chill out. I wouldn't say big
Bigger.
updates. But I mean, I guess since you already talked about the Chase thing, I'll bring it up. And I guess you actually did mention it before because that's why I mentioned the APR, like what I got for it. But anyways, yeah. So I did end up applying for that Chase Sapphire. Which one was it? Preferred?
For preferred, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's preferred. As well. So they ended up offering me $20,000 for the credit limit, which is cool.
No.
You said what?
That's okay. I said they skim me. I'm completely lying. I'm completely 6,000 is great for me. I'm completely lying.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, and then I also want to emphasize the importance of like extending your credit lines. Well, assuming that you actually use your credit responsibly and all that, you don't really carry like a balance. Because like one, it helps just your credit utilization rate in general. So like right now, after I apply for that basically brings me to like the exact number is like $69,500. So basically $70,000 in credit lines. And my balance is typically only like a couple $100. When it shows up like on Credit Karma and all that. So it always says I'm using like less than 0%, or like around 0%. It's like not even 1% of my credit limit, like ever. So it really helps out when it comes to that. And then it's also just like access to capital, like whenever you need it.
Yeah.
Because I was saying to you, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I know I said it like in mastermind meetings too. I love having credit so much because like worst comes to worst, like for example, if you had like a $10,000 credit limit and you had like $10,000 in cash, if a $10,000 expense came up, if you use the cash, like now you're out of the game, like you just lost everything. Whereas if you put it on that credit card, you only need to be able to make up the minimum payment technically each month, and you can buy time to figure out like how you're gonna get or how you're gonna pay it off like in other ways. So I'm really big on buying time. So that's just another important reason.
They also have that 12-month, sometimes you don't have to make a minimum
0%
payment.
APR.
Or 0% APR.
Oh,
yeah,
minimum?
Exactly.
Okay.
No. Yeah, no. Not 0% APR. Like, yeah, like you don't have to make any payments for a certain amount of time. Like, that's also pretty cool, too. Like, I know Joey was talking about the Best Buy card. I don't know if it was initially, if it was like that, but he's like, you get like an immediate 12 months. You don't have to pay anything off. And then you can wait a little bit. But I don't know if that's like a one-time deal type thing. No, yeah, I've heard of a card. Oh, I watched like one of Graham Stephan's videos too, and he was saying like there are cards that delay interest for a certain amount of time, and then you can pay them off later. I'm surprised, unless I'm like saying it in a weird way. I feel like you would know.
No,
about
so
those cards.
like what you just said, that's more so what I'm talking about in terms of like a lot of cards. I think it's actually fairly common. Like when you first get it, there is 0% APR for like 12 to 18 months or whatever it is.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's exactly what I was talking about.
So it's free money. Yeah. Like, you still have to make the payment, but you're not getting charged interest.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, like, in that example of the $10,000, it's like you're not paying any interest on that $10,000. And then another benefit of having, like, good credit is, for example, like if certain expenses come up or whatever, but you don't want to pay like all the interest and you're still going to put it on a credit card, there are cards that like are meant for like balance transfers, so you can transfer the balance to another card, and they might offer like it's gonna cost you like 3% to do the transfer, so you're gonna be paying 3% as like that like one time like interest thing or whatever, like fee. But it will be like a 0% APR for like, I know a card that does it for 24 months, so 2 years. So
That's insane.
now you can
That's
kind of
insane.
finesse, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not pay interest on that money except for that 3% like initial fee. And then once that time period is up, you can do, or almost up, you can do another balance transfer. Sometimes it's the same as that card, because sometimes you can have like multiple of the same card, or you just find another card with a good balance transfer offer as well. So you can keep basically not really paying interest on that debt for a significant period of time, as long as you can still like qualify to have a high enough credit limit on like the card that you're going to be transferring over to, so that it actually covers the full balance. But yeah, it just makes it really, really difficult to get knocked out of the game, and that's the most important thing to me, just being able to buy time.
When I was doing my application for the card, to be honest, I just put in $20 like annually. But I was thinking, like, what would happen if I just put in like $60K? Would they check it first, or
Oh my gosh, bro!
like they're just not gonna?
I don't know
check
if I want to talk about this on here.
Why? Because it's like it's low key illegal, right? So like there's like some low key finessery to this
Well,
stuff, bro. Like,
No. So technically, like you lying, I'm pretty sure it's illegal, because I'm pretty sure you have to check a box that says like all the information is accurate.
I mean, yeah.
But I will say that in general, they typically do not check. But
I mean, yeah, that's lit. I mean, that sounds like I could put in $70K right now. I think I might just have to apply for another
bro.
card.
No. Don't say that. Don't say that on here, bro, because they're gonna look back one day
The IRS
and check
yeah.
the records. Yeah.
This
Hopefully
dude was way
the
too
statute of
big.
limitations is already in place by that time.
No. So I will say I think I do make about 20K, 25K with all the stuff I do. So it wasn't fully lying, but I just don't have like I don't have a steady job, so it's not easy to predict my income every single year. So that's why it's like harder for me to say like I don't know exactly how much I'm gonna make. For my Apple Card, I put in 20K, and that was pretty accurate. I think for this one either 20 or 25K. So, but yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I'll say real quick though, on my American Express card. So on that card, I actually have a limit of 30,000, and it started off at 10,000, and then over time, I just kept asking for credit increases. I think I did it in like $5,000 increments or something like that. But so it's at 30,000 right now, and I tried to ask for another increase, I think to like 50,000, and then I put because they asked like your total income or whatever, and I put like the income from the property, like I included that as part of my thing.
Yep.
And they were not having it.
Yeah,
Well,
I
they
was gonna say,
asked they asked to basically see like my IRS tax records, and then I said no at that point, because like I don't have the records
have
to
it?
show the rental
Yeah.
income yet. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I mean, like I'm going to have it, but you're not going to see that until next year. And then even then, it's like you're only going to see like half the year, so you're not even going to see that full income. But once that's like officially on my records, I can ask them again. But I feel like they only asked me because it was such like a large increase in like a credit limit, and then also like a large increase from the income I was stating before.
I mean, well, I was gonna ask if you were gonna talk about the dang, no way, I think I just forgot. All right, never mind. I'll remember in a second.
All right, so I guess I'll get to my updates then. Word. So I know I was saying last time that basically I was still dealing with like annoying things in terms of the house. So one of the things was after you close on like a multifamily property, basically, well, not even after you close, like typically it's supposed to be at closing is when you're supposed to receive the security deposit and like a prorated rent check from from the units, assuming that they were paying rent. But either way, you still have a security deposit because they should have collected it like before the people even officially moved in. But yeah, so these people still have not given me. Well, they gave me a security deposit and half month's rent because I closed like in the middle of the month basically. So I got that for one of the units, but if you guys remember, like I bought a 3-family, so there's still a whole other unit that I haven't received that stuff for. So I've been calling the attorney's office like every couple of days to check up on them. And like apparently like it's not even my attorney's office, like it's not their fault. it's the seller's attorney that hasn't been getting back to them. So it's so annoying. But they said that like they are legally obligated to give me that stuff. So I don't know, like I don't know. Basically, I'm just gonna keep calling my attorney's office to see like what's good and what if any like further actions need to be taken in order for me to get like what I'm supposed to have. So hopefully next week I can give you guys the update stating that I got the security deposit and the rent check. But either way, I'm gonna keep on following up with the attorney. So you'll hear some sort of update about that. And then yesterday, I met up with this guy John. So he was the one that bought like 65 units in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, in like 9 to 10 months, basically, like starting from last March. So I met up with him because I'm doing like, well, I'm not doing, but I'm having people do like the painting for the property right now to get it like roommate ready. And then I have to do flooring after. So I was going to put LVP or luxury vinyl plank, I think it's called or whatever, throughout the property. Yeah, but I was like pulling up the carpet, and because of Jason, he recommended that, and freaking like there was hardwoods, like hardwood flooring like under the carpet. So he was suggesting that I look into getting the hardwood refinished. So I was telling John about that, and he basically had me come to one of his properties yesterday when I was on my lunch break, and meet like the flooring guy that he uses. So I made an appointment with that guy for Tuesday to come give me a quote. I have a feeling that it's gonna be more expensive to refinish the hardwood versus like what the handyman that's already there doing the painting quoted me for the LVP. And like hardwood would probably technically be like better, but if I can get the LVP for cheaper and it's still gonna look like really nice, then I might just go with the LVP, to be honest. Especially because like the hardwood in this like property, it's a very, very, very dark brown and it's just not like the most beautiful color compared to like when you look at the color schemes of like the unit itself. So I'd have to get it like bleached or like whitewashed or whatever, and I don't know if that costs more money, but I guess I can just ask on Tuesday. And then
Wait, one thing for that though, I remember like watching like one of Meet Kevin's videos, and he was saying like people do a lot to their rental units, but they forget that they're rental units. Like he's like, as long as you can kind of live in there and it looks nice, that's really all that anyone cares about. So I feel like unless you're thinking about, I guess, long term, because I'm pretty sure finished hardwood is way better for long term, right?
I'm not sure because LVP is known to be like extremely durable as
really?
well. Like yeah, like
Oh,
basically
yeah.
carpet is trash. So they
Yeah.
say that you're typically gonna have to like replace a carpet like after like every tenant turnover period, like anytime someone is moving out. Or like every other time, like in I guess like the better case scenario. But LVP will last for a very, very significant period of time. It's also like waterproof, scratch resistant, and all that. So it lasts a long time, and it's not as expensive as like getting
Finishing
hardwood. But I don't know about refinishing hardwood. But I know that the handymen that I use are also like very cheap. That's the thing.
Oh, so you think it might be trash? Or just like cheap as in like they're just better because they're cheap?
Yeah, like I don't know about the quality yet. So I was also gonna say like after I spoke with John, I ended up going to my property to check up like on the painting. And they've been doing it.
Doing it?
It looks pretty
Okay,
well.
right.
I posted it on the store yesterday, so you're gonna see it and whenever this episode comes out. I don't know. But if you
it's come
are
out in a week.
yeah, but if you have us on IG, then you already saw it. But yeah, so what they've done already looks pretty well. And then they said they're gonna be there like all day today and tomorrow to actually finish it, which seems realistic for what I've seen or from what I saw yesterday in terms of the progress. So I mean, if they did well when it comes to the quality of the painting, then I would have like more faith in like their quality when it comes to the flooring as well.
LVP.
So,
I have a question about LVP.
yep.
That's the same. Is it the same thing that Jason used in his property?
Yeah.
So we had someone come in, and they were like some pretty cheap people too. And you know how you're obviously you're supposed to connect them like piece by piece, kind of connect into the ground.
Yeah.
These dudes were putting nails into the ground. They're putting like little nails into them every time. So they basically like, bolted them to the ground. So like I don't think our kitchen's you're never gonna be able to take that up. But I just remember being like, wow, this is trash. Like this dude's
I
not
think
doing
that
exactly enough.
Jason does it to like certain parts of it.
Maybe
like,
the
he'll nail
edges,
certain
I'm
parts of
guessing.
it. Yeah.
But that's that's just like not how you're supposed to do it. Like that's like, it's gonna be a pain if you ever want to replace it after that.
I
I'm
mean,
just saying
that's
that
a good
because I'm
point,
just wondering like how cheap they are. But I guess if it works, it works. But
Yeah. I mean, in the worst case scenario, it's like I could just have it redone. Like it would be extra money and it would be very annoying.
yeah,
but
that's very true. Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, it is what it is. It's not the biggest deal in the world, and that's just another benefit of already being well capitalized before you even get into certain ventures, because you like everything is not gonna go to plan. Like you are gonna have hiccups all the time, but it's like if every single hiccup is gonna like almost wipe you out financially,
Yeah, you got a
then
problem.
it's just different. Yeah. But
I was gonna
that's
ask
just
you
going
too.
again into my thing about I hate that people act like you should get into house hacking with like no money at all. I'm like, why
So
would
with
you want to put yourself in that
$5,000.
position? Yeah.
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead. What was your question?
I was gonna ask you a question before when you were talking about your attorney. I was gonna say, what's like the worst case scenario that could happen like with this money? Is it just you not getting it, or would you have to like would you?
No,
take
I think
legal action?
like I literally have to, like I would have to get it. So I think the worst case scenario would be like you said, the legal action thing. But I don't know like if there are certain costs that go into that. That would make it
Bro,
not worth it. So I guess
yeah.
in the actual worst case scenario, like if it wouldn't be worth it after the legal action, then I wouldn't just get it. But I mean, it doesn't like really matter to me. Like, it's not the most amount of money in the world. So basically, it would total up because these units are paying $1,100 right now. So the security deposit is $1,100, and then the rent check is like, because it's half a month's rent, it's like $550. So what is that, like $1,650 or whatever that I'd be getting? So yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily need it, but I mean, I would like to have it. Why would I not want to have it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like
that's
because
just
I feel like
annoying to me,
security
though.
deposit is important. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
it's like
wouldn't
they
would
kind
have
of
to-
know. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, would they have to repay the security deposit, or would you just assume they don't have one?
I mean, I can request it, I guess, or have my PM request it, my property manager.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the other thing is, like, this is for next week. So on Tuesday, I already said that I'm having the guy come by to quote me for refinishing the hardwood. And then my property manager is actually also doing like the walkthrough to the property, and I had already called to have them at least like give me recommendations for my unit, like in terms of what's gonna be, or like what should I be looking for it to be like completely like rent ready, like once I move out, because I didn't know if they already did like the initial walkthrough. Because I had talked to my neighbor who also works at that property management company, and she was saying that like I had talked to her on Monday, and she said that they might do the walkthrough on Tuesday. But they didn't end up doing it that day. Maybe because I had told them that like I want them to come to my unit too. And the reason I wanted that is because it's like there's certain things that are just easier to do before you even move in. So it's like, all right, like let me just get that out of the way, so that way it's like easier when I move out, like, and I already know what needs to be done at that time, so I don't have to like check again or try to figure it out. But yeah, so my property manager actually emailed me and was like, yo, if you want, on Tuesday we can do a full walkthrough of the entire building, like, so each unit, so you can see everything.
Okay.
Yeah, which is dope. So I feel like I like learn a lot during that time period, and I'll also just be able to kind of ask him a lot more questions, because I feel like I haven't really been able to, because it's like I don't want to take up like too much time, especially like on the phone or whatever. But it's like if he's like actually there, like we're in person,
You could ask.
yeah, like I feel like I have more time to ask like everything that I want to ask. And then what's it called? So I'm actually gonna be working, like, cause I work from home for the most part. I just come into the office once a week, but I'm actually gonna work from the property that day. So that way, I was trying to figure out like with my schedule, like, am I gonna have to take like vacation time or whatever? But if I'm just working at the property when they do the walkthrough, I'll just be like, all right, I'm on break right now, and I'm already there, so that commute time is not gonna be affecting it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be my first day, like really kind of spending a significant amount of time at the property. So should be
Are all the
interesting.
room sizes the same? Of your
No.
your unit?
No. So I think that there's like a master bedroom that's like pretty big, and then there's a second bedroom that's like a decent size, and then there's like a smaller bedroom, which is the one that I'd be taking. If I was,
So you are taking the
well,
smallest
when I'm
one,
moving.
okay.
Bro, of course. You know what I mean,
I
if
know,
I want that
so-
600, if I want that
That's true,
600 a
yeah.
room, why am I gonna give them like a small ass room?
That's true. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I think
I
the
was just
way
think-
that the other people were using it is like the third floor, like they have their kids in like that smaller room, and then in the
annoying.
first floor, I think they're just using it as like a storage room. Like no one even stays in there.
Yeah. All right. Well, is this the first time you're gonna be able to see the first floor unit? Oh no, you already saw the
No,
first floor unit. I
I've
forgot.
seen it a couple times already.
I was gonna say.
I kind of don't
So
like that I'm gonna be there. I mean, but like at the end of the day, the tenants have already seen me. Like
Yeah,
the
but they don't
final
know you, though.
walkthrough, like when I was closing on the property, so it doesn't really matter at this point. And then once I replace the first floor tenants, those people aren't gonna know that I'm the landlord anyways. But yeah, I know that they're gonna be tight though. I know they're gonna be tight if they see me, because it's like we're gonna be looking at the unit. This guy's gonna be telling me like what he thinks should be done or whatever, and like what it's gonna rent for. So I'm actually gonna know that day, which is awesome. What they're gonna up at least the third floor to, like while those people are living there, since I'm cool with them staying. But yeah, it's like the first floor people are gonna see me walk in, and I feel like they're already gonna kind of feel away, like, yo, who is this kid that like,
I know.
like, why does he have a whole property manager and he's just like some young ass like kid
man.
over here in like a jogger set with his hair braided up, like thinking you a boss,
So
like.
mad.
Yeah, they're gonna be tight, like just off of that, and then the fact that it's like I'm not even gonna be personally trying to kick them out, like my property manager is kicking them out. It's like
He said, don't even talk.
it
to
is
me.
like, yo, what is going on, like with the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is, and that's also why I'm kind of. I think I had mentioned it on the last podcast that I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna move in like until like those people get kicked out, because I don't even want to deal with them. So
You're not like Jason, willing to live in it.
he wasn't living there. He just
Oh
moved
yeah,
in
sure.
there
But he was
recently.
doing a lot of work though.
Yeah.
Like
He
he was on the
was.
property a lot.
But I don't mind like being there real quick, but in terms of like staying there, like this is where I rest my head at night type of thing. And I leave my car out there in the driveway all the time. Like I don't know, bro. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, so next week also I'm sitting down with my lender. On Monday actually, me and Jason are sitting down with my lender to kind of discuss like the next moves that we can make in real estate. So I want to ask him if I can qualify for what I was mentioning like last week about the BRRRR strategy, because it's like it's not gonna work out if I just buy a property that's distressed and like fix it up and everything with hard money, and then like I go to try to like refinance and it's like I can't even qualify for like another mortgage or like a significant amount in terms of the mortgage. So I'm gonna sit down with him so we can run some numbers and see kind of like what I could qualify for, to see if it actually makes sense. And then if that's the case, that's going to be done on Monday. So on Tuesday, I can probably even just talk to my property manager right there and let kind of them know my plans. Because I think the guy that's like more so my direct property manager, I think that he's also a co-owner. And I know he has his real estate license too. And then the guy that I talked to as the other co-owner, he recently got his real estate license. And then I know that he also is like a broker for hard money. So I don't know if I said it last week, but I mean, we can edit this part out if I did. But I was saying I feel like it would be very like beneficial for them to like want to work with me, since I know like one of the guys does a lot of flips for a small multifamily, so duplexes and triplexes, which is essentially kind of like what you're doing with the BRRRR strategy, except you're not selling the property, you're just refinancing after. But yeah, because he would be getting like the commission from like being a realtor, potentially getting a fee for like brokering the hard money, and then the residual income, since like his management company is like managing the property. So I feel like he might not think about it in terms of like, oh, this kid is gonna be stealing all my deals or whatever. It's like, nah, like you're eating off of this too, and you're getting the residual income. So I feel like it works out well on both sides, in my opinion. But we'll see how that goes. I'm more so focused on actually like implementing those steps in Q4. So another thing that I want to talk about, which is Q4, by the way. Another thing I want to talk about was this book that I recently read called The 12-Week Year. And essentially the premise behind it is that when people just have like an annual goal, it's like they don't really start feeling kind of the pressure to get it done until like basically the end of the time period. So it's like you gave yourself a full year to do it, and you're probably not even going to grind until like November. You know what I mean? Like almost December to actually get it done. Whereas if you're only giving yourself 12 weeks, it's like that pressure is on like a lot more quickly. So I don't know if I'll do it like exactly in 12 weeks, but I think I'll start doing more so like quarterly goals. So it's like something that maybe I would have originally planned to get done in a year. It's like, let me just do it in a quarter. So it's like 4 quarters. That would be like 4 years of progress if you like did it efficiently and correctly.
The 12, that sounds good. Oh, that brings me to another update I forgot to say, but I'm going to say it after you're done.
I mean, you can say it now if you're going to forget, or if you want to write it down or something.
No, I'm not going to forget.
Okay. But yeah, so for Q3, basically what I want to do is just get everything set up in terms of this house hack. Like that's kind of like my main priority, and that's why I said it's going to feel like I'm like kind of slowing down a little bit, but it's really like you said what?
I said buying liabilities.
Yeah. I said I'm buying liabilities all Q3, bro. But in reality, it's like I'm gonna be taking kind of the steps necessary, I feel like, to actually set up like I guess set up like my real estate business or my real estate portfolio. But yeah, so like just to run off like the list of some of the things I have to do is I gotta furnish the unit at least a little bit. I don't think it's gonna be too crazy. It's like probably gonna need like a couch.
You said a couch.
A couch. Right?
I don't know, probably like a couch.
I already bought a TV. I bought a sound bar,
table,
which was probably necessary. Yeah, maybe. Well, do I need a coffee table?
I mean, probably not. But
I don't know. I'm actually having some girl like basically, I guess kind of be like an interior designer.
She's an interior designer. Okay, yeah.
No, she's not an interior designer, but I'm using
not?
her as an interior designer, basically.
Okay. I thought you were
to make it at least like
designer.
roommate like ready, and also like.
Wait, are you paying
for it? We don't have to talk about that. What?
Are you paying for that?
Yeah. No, you're saying, am I paying her for that?
Yeah.
No, bro.
Or is she just your friend?
Yeah, she's one of the homies.
I was gonna say, no.
Bro, what? No, I'm not paying her for that. Are you serious? I could just ask my mom, bro, for free.
How'd you set up our room? Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I gotta furnish it. Probably like a dining room table, all this. I don't think it's gonna be like anything too crazy, but either way, I want to furnish it and have it paid off. All that stuff paid off, and then like obviously, you said what?
I was gonna say, how much are you projecting to spend on furnishing?
I have no idea.
Just out of curiosity, because like for rental arbitrage, you have to furnish everything, and I know like that costs.
Yeah, you guys have to go crazy.
A big portion. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I don't think it's gonna be that crazy at all, because I already have like a bedroom set. So I really think. I mean, I guess I'll know once I actually go shopping with this girl. But
the couch, bro. The couch.
The couch, bro. That's it. I just need a couch. Nah, I probably need a couch, an entertainment center for the TV, dining room table. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I need a coffee table, but if she says I need a coffee table, I might get one. But I think that's basically it. So it's nothing too crazy. And plus, like, I'm trying to get this stuff like done ASAP so I can have these roommates paying me money, bro. But yeah, so the next thing is have the roommates move in. This is not actually like in order, but it's like I gotta get all this stuff done. I need to hire a CPA, specifically someone who like specializes in real estate, since it looks like, especially if I do the BRRRR strategy, like that's probably gonna be my main bag. So yeah, so someone that works with a lot of real estate investors. So I'm probably gonna find them by just networking, like asking other investors like who they use. But yeah, I need to get that done in Q3. I also need to increase the rent for the third floor, which I'm gonna find out what that is on Tuesday. Replace the first floor tenants. So my property manager is gonna give them the 30-day notice at some point. Hopefully they don't do it the day that I'm there.
Yeah, that'd be wild. You say,
Yeah,
you want to
for
say
real.
it to him?
Yeah, right. But I think maybe they'll do it like on the first. I don't know. But whatever. I'll figure it out. I need to get umbrella insurance and new car insurance. So the umbrella insurance, like a lot of people will tell you that you need to, or you should look into getting an LLC, like when you're investing in real estate, for like basically asset protection and like if someone tries to sue you or whatever. But it's typically like very hard to actually get like a mortgage loan if like you're operating out of an LLC, and then people use a strategy of like buying it in their personal name and then transferring like the deed to the LLC. But if like the bank finds out that you do that, then they're like, all right, so you have 30 days to pay like to pay us the full mortgage because we didn't tell you that you could do that. And that's crazy. Didn't even ask for my permission.
Yeah.
I don't know what you thought it was. You thought it was your house. That's the funny thing. Yeah. So umbrella insurance essentially gives you like similar asset protection. So it's just like another strategy you can use, but they have to bundle typically like your car insurance and your auto insurance in order to get
I don't understand
an umbrella
that.
insurance policy. Yeah, I think it's stupid, but whatever. That seems to be how it is. And I talked to a couple of different insurance companies, and they all said the same thing. So I need to get that done, which I wanted to get it done before I even like officially close on the property. And the other people that quoted me, like they gave me a quote for the entire thing, but this insurance guy did not. And I don't know. Like I'm annoyed with that whole process, but I ended up going with him because my lender recommended it, and I guess a lot of people actually do use this company. Like Jason used them as well. He also doesn't have his umbrella insurance policy yet, though. So I don't know. Maybe they're trash, but it seems like a lot of people have been using them. And then one of the networking events that the one that Sierra, Wandy, and Kenny came to, that was hosted by that insurance company.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're kind of like a big deal around here or something. I don't know. But yeah, and then another thing that's really important is my attorney said that I need to notify the city that I'm going to be like an owner-occupant of that property, because the tax rate for an owner-occupant, like in terms of property taxes, he said it's like 20% lower if they know that you're an owner-occupant. Yeah.
That's
which is
awesome.
insane. That's what I'm saying.
That's awesome. 20% lower?
Yes, bro, but tell me
That
why
is
I called the
insane,
city and I was like, yeah, like, just want to let you know.
Yeah.
And they were like, nah, bro. First of all, you need to come, like, to the office and, like, let us know in person. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And then, which, you know, that was fair, though. But then they were like, by the way, like, you also need to bring something to prove that, like, that you live there. Like, they said that I had to show, like, car registration to show that I live there. And then I went to go look into like to the car registration thing, and it was like, I forgot, it said like I needed to do like a bunch of other things in order to get the car registered to this property. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. It's like so many like different loopholes. It's so annoying. So that's why I'm saying like all this stuff I want to have done in Q3. And then obviously if I finish all that stuff beforehand, then I'll just start like the next kind of quarterly year type of thing. I don't know. So it doesn't have to be like really by like the end of the quarter. It's just like whenever I get it done, like I'm just working on the next thing and then giving myself the 12 weeks or whatever to finish it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's basically.
I'm gonna say my little thing then that I was gonna say before.
I have one more thing to talk about after, but it's not an update. So go ahead.
All right, word. Oh yeah, this isn't really an update either. This is just like I had a conversation with this person at the place I'm interning at. Oh my god, the place I'm an intern at, and they're in a pretty high position role. It's basically like the manager of the managers. I don't know the exact position off the top of my head, but I actually had a pretty good conversation with him, and I was supposed to have you're supposed to ask these questions like. What are the reports for this? Basically, what are the reports for this quarter? Like, how are you track progress throughout time? Blah blah. But I was like, I'm just gonna ask him some regular questions. I'm just asking my own questions. So I was like, how did you? One of the big ones is like, how are you able to manage other people underneath you? Because that's the skill I feel like you have to have when you're growing as a business. I was like, how are you able to make people follow like the same set of like standards that you have? Like, keep it consistent throughout. So everyone kind of is on the same page and everyone's respectful to each other. And he actually gave me a lot of resources, a lot of books on like leadership that I'm gonna look into.
Bro, you should definitely also read Who Not How. That's a really good book on that, and I read it recently. I love that book. So it's basically like a lot of people, they'd be like, all right, so how am I gonna get this done? Whereas they should be focusing on like, all right, so who is going to get this done for me, and like how do I kind of vet that person?
But yeah, so he was letting you, first off, he was like, why do you want to do it? You got to understand why you want to do anything that you're doing. Again,
start with why. That's a good book too.
And he was saying you have to be able to cast a vision onto your team, so you have to be able to kind of guide like the ship in whatever direction you want, vision set for your team. And I was like, okay, very valid. He's like, you have to make your team trust you, or else they're not going to be able to work, which is pretty obvious, to be honest. This is like kind of all obvious stuff. Then he was talking about this, either a book or a podcast called Immersion by Simon Sinek. He was telling me that this dude Michael Hyatt has like some good podcasts or good information, and then
I think he also has a book, Free to Focus, that I'm assuming because the title talks about that. No, I have another book by Michael Hyatt, but it's not that one. That one's on my wish list though. And then another good book for that is The E-Myth, or The E-Myth Revisited.
I'm writing all these down, so hold on.
All right.
You got the E-Myth.
So it's really like the E-Myth Revisited or whatever, but it's basically like the entrepreneur myth. So it's saying that, all right, so the most important thing is like people get into entrepreneurship and then they end up just like, just being self-employed, like what they talk about in like Rich Dad Poor Dad or whatever. But then the E-Myth is basically like, how do you actually, systematize it to like operate it truly as a business and have like other people in place, like Who Not How kind of. But I feel like the E-Myth is potentially like a lot more like in depth and kind of like goes through the structure of like how to get it done, and then also it uses the concept of like subpersonalities, kind of like embracing ourselves. So that was another reason it resonated a lot with me. But a lot of people on like Bigger Pockets, like the original like podcast, they bring up the E-Myth as one of like their main influences as well.
Really?
So yeah. So it's extremely popular, and it's a really good book in my opinion.
So first of all, I was already I was gonna ask this dude if he invests in stuff. I just didn't have that much time, and I felt like I was low key like already breaking.
That would have been my first question.
The stigma.
No.
Yeah, I asked it. But he also brought up this podcast called Entree Leadership, which I want to take a look into. Then he talked about this book that I'm really interested in looking at, because the way he said it was that usually like leadership books or books on like entrepreneurship are kind of give you what to do rather than like situational circumstances. So he was saying this book from Patrick Lencioni. It's called The Motive. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Noah.
No.
Okay, The Motive. And then the last one he gave me was The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. So I think that I'm going to have to take a look into all those. But I linked all those, or I wrote down everything. So if you want to look at that too, then you can definitely look at it. I'm just going to write some real quick. But yeah, I think that was cool because he was at, I think he said he's been working there for 16 years. And he looked very young. So that's why I was asking him these questions, to be honest. Because I was like, you look mad young and you're in a crazy high.
You got a lot of life left. Like, you haven't really been stressed out like that. So clearly you're doing something right.
Exactly. So clearly you're all right.
I don't see no gray hairs.
So yeah, I wanted to know. I was like, there's obviously something different. So he's like, after you finish these books, you can come talk to me. We can have a better conversation." I was like, "All right, that sounds like a great plan." So
that's what I need
especially
to do to people. Don't even talk to me unless you read this set of books.
Yeah, bro.
First.
That's literally what my dad was telling me that he wants to get into. He wants my Audible subscription, and I was like, "Yeah, if you read Rich Dad Poor Dad first, I'll give you the Audible subscription. You got to like kind of prove it in some way." And I was like, "Word, like so." But yeah, that's what I want to mention because I feel like I wasn't expecting to go into that leaving with like I feel like some gems high key because if you're even saying this person Michael Hyatt is that good with that book, I'm sure I'll take something out of the book that he has.
And he's been on like a lot of the podcasts that like we listen to. Like he's been on quite a few like bigger podcast episodes, and then other podcasts that I listen to.
But yeah, so that's it. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, so I was gonna bring up the thing that you were saying about like why would you ever regret like having a property manager? Yeah, and like I will kind of. No, actually, let me not even say that. But I will say that even my property manager, like in the podcast that he had specifically stated as well that like at the beginning, you should be self-managing. So you learn like everything that goes into it. But I kind of wonder if he was also saying it in the sense of like you need to like have more sympathy for property managers because if you understood like what we actually have to go through, then like maybe you wouldn't like come at us so crazy. I feel like that might be part of it. And then also when they had an episode with like someone else that was talking that owns a lot of properties, he was like, "Nah, you have to do it because that's gonna help you understand like if you actually want to be in this game or not." So I understand it from that perspective. Although for me, I don't necessarily like agree with that in the sense that what's it called? Like specifically for like you understanding like whether you want to be in this game or not. Because like for example, we had thought about, or like some people in the mastermind, including me, had thought about like starting like a trucking company, but we wouldn't be the drivers. Like we would essentially buy a truck and then hire like drivers and a dispatching company to actually like do what needs to be done and we're just operating like truly as the owners. But I'm like, I would never drive a truck, you know what I mean? So it's like you know what I mean, like that's just not what I would want to do. So I don't think I need to learn that lesson before I do that. Like I think I just need to understand like what those people are going through, kind of like Jamie was saying, but without me actually having to be there. It's more so like just understanding like the driver's perspective and talking to like potentially like my driver or a couple different drivers and like listening to podcasts and YouTube videos to really get like where they're coming from, and also kind of understand a little bit about like how they do their job, so I understand if they're doing the right thing. But like even going back to real estate, it's like I've already read like quite a few books on like managing rental properties. And I have a course that talks about like investing in rental properties in general, but it talks about like it has a whole section dedicated to management. So like I kind of understand it at like a high level. So I just don't really feel like I need to go through that process. Although I understand like why you would, but I know that I'm taking a very like contrarian view, and that's why like even when I network with other investors, I basically refuse to tell them that I'm hiring a property manager because I know that they're going to look at me crazy. But I still have conviction like behind my decision. And at the end of the day, it's not like it has to be permanent because like even with this particular company, like I'm on a month-to-month agreement with them. So I could just fire them and self-manage if I wanted to. And then like another thing is like a lot of people recently, I've heard like they've been saying that they became better investors when they started investing out of state because at that point it's like they truly had to operate it like 100% as a business, because when they were investing locally, and especially if they were house hacking, it's like they would be there for like every little thing. Like anytime that the tenant had a concern, it's like they would be the ones to go to the property and like make sure everything was like all set instead of like having systems in place to like to handle it. So and I know people that started off just investing out of state. So it's like they didn't have a choice. Like they had to hire like a property manager off rip. But I do understand that it's like you can save money by not doing it. But that's why I keep saying or emphasizing this part. Like I didn't want to come off last week as I'm just being like, oh, like I'm just so above like doing all that stuff because I'm at this level now, or whatever. I'm more so just saying that going forward, it's like I don't want to give myself any more jobs. Like I just don't. You know what I mean? Like I want to have a better understanding of like where I'm at and how to work smarter and not harder going forward. So to me, that like that's why it's worth it even with the fee. But yeah, because I just care a lot more about buying time now.
Yeah.
And leveraging. Last thing real quick. Just leveraging like other people's experience and all that as well, because I keep hearing things from like other investors, and like the certain like issues that they're dealing with, and I'm like, bro, I feel like you wouldn't have had to deal with that or even learn that lesson if you just hired someone to deal with it off rip that's way smarter than you. And actually wants to like dedicate the time to like truly do it, and that's something that's emphasized a lot in Who Not How. Bro, like it's this person's job to do, like this is their business, this is what they dedicate their time to do. So like, why don't you focus on like working on your business instead of handling like all these other kind of like miscellaneous things? Like we met someone that does a lot of flips, and he's a wholesaler, and he's a realtor and all that, and he probably does some other things too, but he has like a couple rentals. But he's like, bro, I don't want to keep like getting more rentals, because he's saying that he gets annoyed by the tenants. He's like, yeah, like just the other day, like I had a tenant calling me about like a leak, and I was like, yo, like why am I dealing with this? And in my head I'm like, that doesn't mean that you should stop buying rental properties. I'm like, you need to hire someone to handle like those calls for you. You know what I mean? And like handle like the work that is associated with them. Like you shouldn't have to deal with that.
I mean, but it's I feel like it's impossible to grow if you do not delegate the tasks to other people though too. Because if you're constantly the point person for all these little issues, and how are you gonna focus on growing past a certain limit? You know what I'm saying? You can always hire property management companies and keep growing, but you can't always be answering all these different phone calls.
Yeah, but I think like the point that people want to emphasize is that at the beginning.
And when you start
out, it's like you do that yourself. But for me, I think it's not about the beginning of like I feel like they're coming at it from the perspective like real estate is like your main thing, or it's the first thing that you did. So to me, it's like, yeah, at the beginning of like your journey, I feel like it more so like would make sense to do that. But I feel like it's more so about the overall like financial independence journey is the way I think about it. So like, for example, like with you, because you're going to be doing like rental arbitrage and these other things before you even get into house hacking, I feel like it probably wouldn't make sense for you at all to, all right, let me not say at all. But if it's like a 3 or 4 family property, it probably wouldn't make as much sense for you to handle it, because it's like you're just making so much money in these other places. Like, why would I even deal with this headache right here?
Yeah,
like, why?
I don't think I would. Yeah,
if it's a duplex, maybe like that's a little bit different, because it's only like one tenant or whatever.
One person.
But yeah, so that's why I'm coming from that perspective. Especially because, like, for example, if I pursue the BRRRR strategy, it's like I really just want to focus on these acquisitions right here. I don't want to handle like any of that other stuff. Like, that's just annoying. So like I might not necessarily be in the position where it's like, oh well, I'm just making so much money that it's not even worth my time. But it's like I'm trying to get to that position very quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't even want to like delay that by focusing on this, and even just dealing with like the stress associated with it, because to me like that's another thing. But yeah, I do understand the other perspective a lot though, of like why people would say that it's not worth it. So I just want to, I guess, express that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just like no, the way that y'all are doing things are just so dumb. Like, no, like you guys might be right. Like I could be wrong. Maybe I should self-manage. I'm not opposed to that opinion. That's just not the path that I'm pursuing at this particular moment. But things may change. So that was the last thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, from what you've told me about it too, I feel like what you say makes a lot of sense, especially since you're trying to create a business. You're not trying to create. I mean, I don't know what else you're trying to be creating, but you're not.
I'm not trying to create a property management business.
Yeah, literally, yeah, exactly. You're not trying to create a property management. That's exactly what. Yeah. So that makes sense to me. But all right, yeah, we're running out of time. Do you have any like last things you want to add before I close it off?
No, sir.
All right, awesome. Well, I have a question. What are your goals for quarter 3? And I don't know, because some people don't like to talk about their goals necessarily. So if you don't want to talk about your goals, what credit card do you have? And what rewards points does it give you? I feel like that's a pretty surface level question, so not too deep. But yeah, that's it for today's episode. Again,
Should we have a talk directly on the benefits of like credit cards and reward points and all that?
Yeah,
at some point?
I think we should.
I don't know if it would be a
We could
full
probably-
episode, but I feel like it's something that we could talk about before or after updates and all that, at least.
Yeah, I think so too, because I don't think people. Well, there's just a credit card world is just a big space. Yeah, we definitely should. Just if you've stayed this far, and I guess we can just talk about it too now. There's a lot of stuff I want to do with this podcast. There's a lot. I think we have the content portion pretty much down, but there's a lot of stuff I think that we should be doing in terms of getting more people on to the podcast to speak, like around from the local area, and also just being in person. I think would be really cool if we had that. So I think we can work something out. But yeah, for anyone that stayed this long, thank you for staying on. We'll have a new episode next week. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Wealth is Health podcast.
Peace.
Peace out.